What's going on, bros? It's Phil here, back with another video. So I'm 4 months of semen retention, 4 months and a bit, maybe almost 4.5, and feeling good, feeling grounded. Spent the day at the beach yesterday. I've got to work today later, but I got a little bit of time, so I'm going to drop another video. And the subject of today's video is female validation runs deep. So, what am I talking about? So, I'm going to talk about my experiences around this, and this is going to be a bit serious, guys. It's going to get a little bit dark, so strap yourselves in. I'm going to start with a story time. So, when I was a kid and we went to school, I got four brothers. I got a twin brother and two other brothers. We were never allowed to go or stay home from school sick. It just was never a thing. And I didn't understand why till much later, and I'm going to get into that. But basically, my parents were both pretty strict. My mum was an English teacher, and I always thought this was because she was a teacher, and it was just like, no, you got to go to school because she was a teacher. But it went way deeper than that. And that was probably part of it. But when I was young, when I was a kid, staying home sick from school was not an option. And I learned really early on, like, not to even bother asking, like, Mum, can I stay home sick today? I'm sick. My mum, there was no way. I was just going to school, so I didn't even bother asking. And I think year 5 or 6 this time. So I was just that day. I was just really sick. I felt like I was going to throw up, but I knew that I was going to school, and I had this oral presentation to do. But I knew, like, oral presentation or not, like, I wasn't even going to bother asking my mum, can I stay home from sick? I was going home. I was going to school, whether I liked it or not, even though I felt like I was going to throw up. I'm on the school bus and I just feel like crap and I feel like I'm going to throw up on the bus, but I make it to school. I do my oral presentation. This is a funny thing. I can kind of look back at it now and laugh. So my oral presentation is on volcanoes, right? So I do my oral presentation. It was probably only like 5 minutes, but at the end of it, I go, and that concludes my presentation on volcanoes. And right after that, I just vomit, like massive vomit in front of the whole class, goes all over the floor. My breakfast goes everywhere. Super embarrassing. The whole class is like half laughing, half grossed out, disgusted. And they're just like, oh my God. And I'm like embarrassed. But here's what I remember: more so than the feeling of embarrassment, the overwhelming feeling was relief. That I'm like, oh, good. I have evidence. Like, my whole class of 20, 30 kids and the teacher have seen me throw up. That means, like, I'm sick. I have evidence I'm too sick. I can go home. So, and I was allowed to go home after that because the teachers, like, basically sent me home. Like, no, he's thrown up in front of the whole class. He's sick. He's going home. But yeah, the message I got, and this is like before I'm old enough to form coherent thoughts and around this, is like, you're not allowed to be sick. And almost like more than that, like, particularly mum, because she's meant to be the nurturing one. It's like, mum doesn't care if you're sick, bro. You're not allowed to be sick. There's no nurturing in that department. It's like, just get the fuck on with it, kid. Like, man up. And this is at a very young age. Like, you're not allowed to be sick. You're going to school. You got to do whatever. So I internalized the message that my mum is not a nurturing place of healing and refuge. My mum is cold, and I don't want to say she doesn't love me, but or care, because my mum did care and did love me, and my mum sacrificed so much for us boys, at the expense of her own mental health. But at the same time, as a kid, you don't know that. All you get is this feeling of coldness and lack of nurturing and lack of love and care. That's what it feels like. It literally feels like a lack of love, a vacuum of love. I couldn't understand any of this till I was much, much older. But here's the thing: my mum was dealing with her own shit. So my mum had anxiety, depression, and intergenerational trauma. So now I'll go into a bit of that. And I don't give a shit if you don't believe in trauma or intergenerational stuff. I do. I've been through it. My family's been through it. So my family background is German Polish. So both sides of my family were displaced, which is a nice way to put it. Lost everything during the war on both the Polish side and the German side. Had to leave in the middle of the night. Soldiers overrunning their homes, and had to get out of there. Lost everything. All right. My both sides of my family lost everything during World War II. But this is before my mum is born. So now I'm going to talk about my Oma, my German grandma. So before my mum's born, my Oma had a daughter. So my mum's older sister. So when my Oma was in Germany in the 1940s, the country was being overrun. It was chaos. There's soldiers everywhere. And those soldiers, the German soldiers, people have this idea that the raping and the pillaging goes on against the enemy. Like it was carnage. Those soldiers were doing anything and everything to anybody and everybody that they could. It was just like disgusting and evil. So what I'm talking about is grape. So my Oma was, that by soldiers who were meant to be her countrymen. So there's all that trauma that my Oma has. And this wasn't a one-off. So, and my Oma had to literally take her daughter and put her behind the curtain while the soldiers could come in and do this to her. So that's what I'm talking about, guys. It's pretty fucked up, man. So then my Oma is displaced, has to leave the home and the farm they grew up on. She ends up in a camp, not a concentration camp, but like a refugee camp, like a Red Cross refugee camp with her daughter. So my mum and her brother haven't been born by this stage. It's just my mum's older sister. So my mum's older sister gets a bacterial infection, which, these days is you take some antibiotics and you get better. It's like no drama. They had antibiotics back in those days, but what happened was the Red Cross would send antibiotics to the camps, but the soldiers at the camps would intercept all these aid shipments, and they would take everything that they could sell and sell it on the black market at a marked up price. And the medicine very rarely got to the people in the camps that it was meant to help. It got sold elsewhere, and it used to get sold to soldiers. So it didn't reach the people, and it didn't reach my Oma and her daughter inside the camp. So my Oma had to literally watch her own daughter. Sorry if this is getting heavy, bros, but this is fucked. Like, this is what was going on. This is real talk, okay? This is what was going on. So my Oma had to literally watch helplessly as her crying daughter died in her arms. And helplessly, there's nothing she could do. She tried to get the medicine. No one would give her any medicine. Day by day, she's watching her daughter literally die. And she's fucked up for life from that. And you can understand that. Like who would ever recover from something like that? So going on from this, so my mum's older sister died in the camp. She was like 4 years old. So from that point, my Oma could never give, whenever my mum or my mum's little brother was sick, my Oma would just throw her hands up, leave the room, be like, I'm out. She can't deal with it. She's triggered. She's traumatized. She just couldn't deal with it. She'd literally throw the baby at my Opa, say, you deal with this. She could not do it. And, it's fucked up, but you get it. Like, you understand that if you know the backstory, but if you don't know the backstory, it's like, and the child doesn't get it. Like, when the child's a baby, the child doesn't understand what war trauma is, intergenerational trauma. So my mum received the message from her Oma that if you're sick, too bad, so sad, and she passed that on to me because that's how she was treated. Like, she couldn't be sick. Being sick wasn't a thing. Don't expect any love, nurturing care from your mum. That's not what mums do. So that's what my mum did. Like, my mum never learnt that from her mum, so she passed it on. And this is the way intergenerational trauma is passed down. So anything that isn't, if the person doesn't take steps to fix the intergenerational trauma, that stuff just gets perpetuated generation by generation until someone has the strength and opportunity and means available to work on that trauma and say, no, this shit stops with me. And that's what I've tried to do, bros. Like, I'm like, no, this shit stops with me. I'm not going to pass that on to anybody. So, but this has taken me years to figure out, bros, years. But anyway, long story short, this is where all my issues came from. You know, my mum's mum was fucked up with war trauma. So my mum had depression, anxiety, wasn't nurturing, came across as cold. I never felt that love, care, nurturing, shoulder to cry on with my mum. My mum was always cold, disconnected, emotionally unsafe. Like I never felt like I could go to my mum with my problems. To this day, I don't bring anything to my mum. I don't have that relationship with my mum, and I, I just don't think because she would have to heal all that stuff, and she's like in her 70s. She's not gonna heal that shit, man. Like, and if she does, great, but like, I can't sit around waiting for that from her. Like, I just have to kind of do my own inner child work and move on the best I can. But I guess the point is that this is where all my female validation shit comes from because I never got those feelings of love, care, nurturing, tenderness from my mum. And your parents are your role models for God. You got to understand this. When you're young, that your dad becomes the archetype, the role model for men and masculinity. Right or wrong, like it or not, this is the way it goes. You model masculinity from your dad and you model femininity from your mum. So I'm trying to get nurturing, love, care, tenderness, and I just never got that as a kid. My mum was always cold and aloof and distant physically and emotionally. So I never got that. So I was always looking for that outside of myself, outside of my relationship with my mum. And I tried to find that in other women. And this created massive problems because whenever I'd meet a woman, I'd always be waiting for her to give me oh, you're okay, you're worthy, or they're there. Like, and women don't want to do that. When you're dating women, that's not their role. Your romantic partner is not there to be your surrogate mother. That's not fair on them. It's not realistic, and they're actually turned off by that. Women can be very nurturing, and they can play that role, and there is a time and place for them to do that if they want to do that, and if that's a good idea. But it's not when you meet a girl on a date. That's not what's going on. Like, and that causes all sorts of problems because I was always kind of looking for this validation, this oh, you're okay. Like, yeah, almost like I was looking for love, my mother's love in another woman. And like, that's a recipe for disaster. So that's where a lot of this stuff comes from for me. And it's literally taken me years to unpack all this stuff I'm talking about. You know, psychologists and different therapies and CBT and EMDR and trauma release work and body work and different counselors and reading books and going on retreats and meditating and all the stuff I've done, the work I've done. Like, I've literally filled pages with this stuff, bros. So, but a lot of this goes back to this core issue, and I've healed some of that, but I still struggle with it. I still struggle with trying to find validation, my mum's love in other women. And this is for me, and hopefully some bros listening to this can relate to this a little bit. For me, this is where a lot of the problems came from with my S3X addiction, with all the corn addiction, because corn can't reject you. And this is what a lot of the bros, these incel dudes, and I can relate a lot to them because when I was young, I was an incel before that was a thing. And I didn't have a word for it then, but that was kind of me. And a lot of it was because of this separation, this emotional distance, and physical and emotional distance with the female feminine archetype that was my mum. And thank God I've had the privilege and the time and the money and the resources to go back and unpack a lot of that. And also took a lot of introspection and effort, conscious effort on my part. Not everybody gets to do that. Some people are just so flat out keeping shit together, they never get the space, the time, the resources, the money to go back and work on their shit. But if you do, bros, go work on your shit. Like, do the work. If you can, if you have space, do the work, because you owe it to yourself and you owe it to your family and friends around you, and you owe it to your children if you have kids. So try, I know it's not easy, but the trauma needs to stop with somebody. And if you can, make the somebody you. So I promise myself the trauma is going to stop with me. I'm not going to pass this bullshit on. And it's been hard. Like I struggle with this all the time still, but I've gotten heaps better. But this, without making this video too long and too dark, I'm just trying to explain where this female validation stuff comes from for me. And hopefully some of you can relate to this in a small part. Like maybe it's not as severe, but maybe you had a mum who was just busy. She was always at work and she just couldn't give you that time and attention and, emotional support and nourishment you needed. Emotional neglect is a huge thing. And I'm not saying, mums intentionally do this, but just not having time to give to your son is going to fuck them up. And I'm sorry, but it's harsh, but it's true. Like, you need to give children time. Quality time's bullshit. Your kid needs to be able to, at any point, feel they can just come to you and mum is going to be that support, that nourishment, that love, that care, that shoulder to cry on when you're a young kid. And if they can't access that, it's going to fuck them up. Sorry, but facts are rough, but that's my life experience, and that's what I've seen in people around me. Like, it is what it is. So, and there's a lot of boys, a lot of men who are still struggling with inner child issues that directly relate back to emotionally and physically absent / neglectful mothers and female primary caregivers. I'm not blaming anybody. It's not about blame. I'm just talking about the facts. This is the way it works. And this has been my experience. I don't hold this against my mom. I had massive resentment against her for a while, and through 12-step recovery, I worked through that. But this is just my experience. I don't care if you agree with me, man. This is just my experience. So that's probably more than you care to know about where my female validation issues came from. But like, if that's you, if you can relate to this, maybe you can interrupt the pattern and maybe you can start to work on this stuff and understand that you got to heal this stuff and only you can do it. And semen retention is a big part of that, because just creating that distance and just stop chasing validation in women for 3 months, do your 90 days and get some distance, get some perspective so you can step back and see all those unhealthy patterns. And then you have a chance to unpack this stuff. But if you're constantly looping in this cycle that a lot of guys get caught in, where you're just chasing, the vajay, and you're trying to find that love and care and nurturing in a woman your age, and that's not her job, bro. That was your mum's job, and she didn't do it. It's not your partner's job to give you that. She can give you a little bit of that, but if you turn it up every day expecting her to be that, she's not your mum. She's your partner. So that's never going to work. You're setting it up for failure. Don't set up your woman to fail like that. It's not fair on her. It's not fair on you. You need to do the healing now. Your mum probably can't. You need to do it. Sorry, it's shit, but you're the only one who can do it. So don't expect your woman to do it. Don't expect your mum to do it. You got to kind of do it. And that's what I've been working on. And it ain't easy, but it's worth it. So I'm not going to make this video too much longer. This was a long one. Got a bit dark. Sorry about that, bros. Sorry, but not sorry. It had to be said. I needed to tell this story. So hopefully you understand a bit more about female validation, at least my experience of it, where I'm coming from, and how semen retention can be an integral part of healing from that. That's, I guess, the takeaway message, that semen retention, it was a massive factor in me unpacking and healing from a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to leave it there today, bros. If you're tuning in, super grateful. Thank you for tuning in. Smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, drop a comment below. I'm more interested in your comments. So it doesn't matter if you're 1 day, 10 days, 100 days, 1,000 days of semen retention. Drop a comment below. Let us all know how you're going. We're all in this together. Let us know of your wins, your setbacks. Just drop a comment below. We're all in this together, and I'll catch you on the next video.